Hello public access producers. In this video we are going to learn how to use MPEG Streamclip to convert our DVD to a file that can then be uploaded to the FTP server. From our last video we went ahead and put a shortcut to the application out here on the desktop. We also put a shortcut down here in the dock. In any event, we are going to fire it up so we can see what this looks like. This is a very simple interface, so it's basically just this block, this kind of media player, and some options at top, a file menu, edit menu. For our purposes, we are going to use very little of this program. I would recommend at this point that if you do not have a DVD in your machine and you wish to follow along, that you go ahead and you get a DVD and put it in. Because I have already taken the liberty of doing so. So I'm going to go to File, Open DVD. You're going to have a window open up and you are going to navigate to your DVD. If you highlight that, you will see inside there are two folders, video_ts, audio_ts. This is typically what the contents of any DVD looks like. For as long as your DVD looks like that, you should be able just to highlight this DVD entry in this left column and hit select. And now it's open. MPEG Streamclip is not a very good media player, so do not expect that you're going to be able to watch your DVD or listen to it particularly well with this software. If you want to go ahead and just grab the scrubber just to kind of make sure that it's here and it is what you think it is, that'd be fine. Go to File, go down to Convert to MPEG with MP2 audio, and this will bring up a dialog box that will allow you to name this file and save it someplace on your computer. I would recommend you save this file to your desktop. It will be easy to find that way, and when you go ahead and upload your file to the FTP server, you are indeed going to have to navigate to it, so note where it is. This is where you are going to name your file. The specs recommended are your show title, plus the episode number if you have one, plus the date of submission. If your show does not have an episode number, it would be fine to put, say, date filmed in as your episode number. Hit save, and that is now getting saved to the desktop. Here's a status bar, and we can watch it go. These things can take a little while. This can take 15-20 minutes, maybe longer, depending on how long your show is. My machine is relatively fast, so you can see it's moving very quickly. But again, I would expect to have to step away and grab a cup of coffee at this point. When it's complete, it's going to be very unceremonious in that you're done. Here is your file right here. So we successfully did that. If you wanted to be thorough, I would ask that you just check a couple things about this file. Go ahead and with your file highlighted, hit Command I, and it should bring up this little info window right here. Take a look at the size of this file right here. It's 1.68 gigabytes. Typically, most public access programs are half an hour or an hour long, and those file sizes typically range anywhere from under a gigabyte, a little bit under a gigabyte, to maybe a few gigabytes, 3.5, maybe even 4, depending on settings. If you notice that this number is significantly lower than a gigabyte, then you might want to investigate whether or not this file did export completely. you can always call the Edina Playback facility if you have any questions or concerns where you think something seems off about your file. The other thing that is very important to look at are the dimensions of your file. This needs to be 720 by 480. If you notice this is any other size, you will need to use different export settings for MPEG Streamclip. The rest of you should be ready to go. Here's your file, and please proceed to the next video uploading to the FTP server if you don't know how to do that already. Thank you. The settings that I showed you convert to MPEG with MP2 audio should serve the needs of 95% of you, but for a handful of you, you are going to need to use a different option. You are not going to be able to use this convert option. You are going to need to export your DVD to a QuickTime movie. If you used the convert to MPEG with MP2 audio and your file size has anything other than this dimension ratio, you are going to have to export your DVD using export for QuickTime. You're going to go to File, choose Export to QuickTime. That is going to bring up a window with a bunch of different options you can choose from, so to take note. This first one, compression, should be set to H264. Select that. As far as quality goes, you could place that all the way up to 100. I wouldn't go any less than 80. As far as sound goes, choose MPEG 4 AAC. You can take this sample rate down to 192. It kind of doesn't matter, but you're really just not going to hear the difference between these two numbers on the channel. Frame size, this is important. Choose 720 by 480 DV NTSC. That's pretty much it. What I would suggest you do if you're going to be using export to QuickTime frequently is to actually save these settings so you can choose them quickly next time. So go ahead and open that up and hit New, and it will ask you, do you want to create a new preset? Current settings will be stored in the new preset. Say yes. We're going to call this Export to QuickTime, and then you've saved that. And when you want to choose that for next time, you just load those into play. I'm actually going to cancel this right now just so you can see what it looks like to load a preset into play. If we go to File, Export to QuickTime, and we go to our presets, and you might have other presets in here as well. Make sure you are choosing the correct one. Export to QuickTime, you hit load, and all of the settings you chose for that preset will pop up. And now it's just a matter of making a movie. You're going to get this dialog box, and you are going to name your program something that's relevant. So my awesome show, episode 14, date May 20th, 14. As we talked about earlier, if you do not have formal episode numbers for your show, maybe just plug the date that you filmed the show into this second slot here. Make sure you have the desktop chosen. Basically, whatever you select over here in your left column is where you're going to wind up saving this file, and you're going to need to take note of where you are saving this file, because you're going to need that file later when you upload it to the FTP server. I'm going to recommend you put it on your desktop so it's easier to find later. And now you're going to go ahead and hit save, and you're going to see this status bar, and you're gonna wait for this status to complete. The thing about exporting with QuickTime is this option takes quite a bit longer than the convert to MPEG 2 option. So I would strongly suggest that you you don't use export to QuickTime unless you really have a reason to, because it's probably going to take twice as long. Okay, so this is wrapping up here, and that has disappeared, and you will see over here the file landed on your desktop. This is ultimately what you are going to upload to the Dyna Playback Facilities FTP server. So that is how you export a DVD to a QuickTime file. So if you notice that your program, when looking at it, takes place in one of these sort of elongated rectangles, you are going to export to a QuickTime movie, and I'm going to show you how to do that right now, and I'm going to show you what settings to use if you indeed need to use that option. I am going to export just a portion of this show, just so we can get through it kind of quickly. I'm basically just setting an in point and an out point using the I key and the O key. But that's something that you're more than likely not going to have to worry about, given that you will export your entire program. So this is one of our exceptional cases right here where we know we cannot use convert. We have to export to QuickTime. This is where you will want to pay close attention and possibly even write down these settings, because they are very, very particular. You are going to see a window that looks like this, and there are going to be a number of settings that you need to make sure are exact. The first one will be compression, and we will go ahead and open up this fly open menu. And we are going to navigate to something called H264. So we're going to select that. Go ahead and move the quality slider up to 100%. For sound, we are going to open up this drop-down menu as well. And we are going to select MPEG 4 AAC. This number over here doesn't matter too much. You could go ahead and drop it down to 192. Don't worry, you're not going to hear the difference between these two numbers. Frame size, this is important, 720 by 480, but be sure to pick the DV-NTSC option right here, as opposed to the unscaled one. Lastly, note this setting right here. If and only if your program looks like one of these elongated rectangles, you will want to correct the aspect ratio of this when it's being exported, so that on television it does not look like a rectangle that's squished into a square. You are going to effectively want to change the aspect ratio so that this output is letterboxed. You will drop this down, you will go to 1.333. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to click Make Movie. And for right now, just so we can get through this, we're going to have it go to the desktop, and we're just going to call this Test right now. This is what I mean by letterboxing. It is that letterbox that is going to allow an elongated rectangle to fit into the aspect ratio of a square. You will also notice that unlike convert to MPEG, the export to QuickTime file has a .mov extension as opposed to a .mpeg extension. So if we just do a quick preview of it, we can see it's letterboxed, and thus the aspect ratio was corrected for. Okay, one quick note for producers is once in a blue moon, when you put a DVD into your machine, and from MPEG Streamclip, you go File, Open DVD, you highlight it, and then you hit Select. you might get an error like this. It happens rarely, but it does happen. Hit open anyway. It works like 99% of the time. I have yet to not see it work. And then you can go ahead and from there do your file convert to MPEG with MP2 audio or export to QuickTime as you normally would. If you cannot open your DVD and you're having problems just bypassing that error, obviously give us a call here at the Dyna Playback facility.